Okay. So we have a subtopic here which says that the mindset that changes everything. Okay, so we are about 5 outlines here. So the first one is context for the concept. Number 2 outline we have here, transform your thinking. Okay. From limitation to possibilities. Okay, number 2, transform your decision. From emotional reaction to strategic implementation. From emotional reaction to strategic implementation. Okay, so we have here transform your value creation. Number 4, transform your value creation. Okay, from chasing money to solving problems. From chasing money to solving problems. I'm creating value, creating solution, and solution providing. Okay, so the last one, transform your discipline. Transform your discipline. Okay, from short-term pleasure to long-term wealth. From short-term pleasure to long-term wealth. Okay, so for those that are not in the class, we have a lot of revision, so I'll see what I can do. So we started the class by talking about context for the concept. So we start telling us that wealth is not only what you accumulate, it's what you are capable of creating in your mind, of course, taking form in your mouth, manifesting in your hands. So it's about creating, managing, multiplying by using and using for impact. Building wealth is not only a financial experience, it is first mental and behavioral transformation. So the mental and behavior are supposed to change. So many entrepreneurs desire millionaire results while retaining the mindset, habit, decisions, and relationships and business practices that produces ordinary results. So the millionaire mindset is not only believing that money will magically appear, it's about developing the capacity to see opportunity, create value, solve problems, make strategic decisions, manage resources, take calculated risks, delay gratification, build systems and structures, and remain disciplined long enough to turn visions into measurable results. A millionaire entrepreneur does not simply ask, how do I make money? They simply ask, how do I create more value? How do I add what valuable problem can I solve, for whom and for at what scale? How do I build systems and structures that would continue to create bring money? So a millionaire mindset therefore begins with one powerful question: who must I become to build the wealth I desire? Is that who you need to become to build the wealth you desire? So you have to become someone that can build that wealth you desire. So it starts from your thinking. Transform your thinking from limitation to possibility. So everything is created twice: one in the mind, second in the marketplace, or second in your hands. Before any product, before any company, before any before any company is registered, before construction is done, before building business generates revenue, There is an idea in the mind of the entrepreneur. The quality of the entrepreneur thinking influences the quality of the decision that follows. So, from limited thinker sees rejections, problem, difficulty, a difficult economic competition, lack of capital, reasons why something cannot work. A growth and, of course, a millionaire mindset always ask what opportunity is hidden inside this problem. What can I learn? How can I improve? Who can I partner with? What resources do I already have? What can technology help me accomplish? How can I create more value? Your environment influences you, but your interpretation of the environment influences your response. Millionaire thinking does not only deny the result, we don't deny the result, but we refuse to become a permanent prisoner of reality. So we discuss so much to the point that we have to separate between an ordinary mindset and a millionaire mindset. So an ordinary person just say, I want money first. A millionaire mindset say, how can I create more value first? Ordinary mindset, I cannot afford it. A millionaire mindset, how can I create and access the resources? And so many other things we discussed in that particular outline. So we started moving to the fact that you cannot build a new financial future with an old mental operating system. And don't measure your potential by what you currently possess. Measure it by the problems you are capable of solving. So the goal is not just to become a millionaire. The goal is to become the kind of person capable of creating, managing, and multiplying wealth responsibly. So that is just to transform your decision. So it's just not about thinking differently. You must be able to take action with it, because thinking differently is powerful, but thinking without acting produces nothing. That's what we started yesterday. A millionaire entrepreneurs understand that every decision has a cost, an opportunity cost. Saying yes to something is saying no to something else. Sometimes the most expensive decision is not making the bad one, it is refusing to make the necessary decisions on time. So you have to move from emotional reaction to strategic, of course, implementation. Instead of saying blaming your staff, blaming the economy, blaming everybody, why not say what can we learn, what can we improve? Entrepreneur move the blame to strategic thinking. So before making major business decisions, ask yourself this question: does this create value? Does it increase capacity? Does this improve cash flow or profitability? Does this actually strengthen the business? Does this move me closer to the long-term vision? Nehemiah did not just complain about the broken walls of Jerusalem. He assessed the situations, developed a plan, mobilized people, allocate responsibilities, and execute. In Nehemiah 4, verse 6, so we built the wall for the people. So we built the wall for the people had in mind to work. Vision becomes reality when vision was followed by organized action. Organized action. So just thinking about it is not enough. You must be able to have the capacity to also implement. Successful entrepreneurs do not just make decisions; they make decisions that move the organization forward. So we discussed so much that we have to move um, to discuss yesterday that, dear entrepreneurs, perhaps the greatest transformation you need is not a new business idea. Perhaps it's a new version of you, the version that thinks bigger, a version that stops making excuses, the version of you that understands money, a version of you that solves bigger problems, a version of you that learns to build people, a version of you that understands systems and structures. Maybe what you're looking for is not just a business idea, maybe a version of you that can manage success without being destroyed by it, a version of you that can receive wealth without losing your character. But because the real question is not, can I become a millionaire? The deeper question is, can I become the person capable of creating, managing, multiplying, and using wealth responsibly? This is the transformation. This is the assignment. This is the millionaire mindset. So we started, I don't know why we went to transforming value creation yesterday. Did we get to this point yesterday? Eh? Okay, yes. From stop chasing money to start looking for how to become more valuable, how to solve more problem, provide solution. So yesterday we discussed so much that uh it was a whole lot of training. So I stopped by telling you that stop chasing money, start managing, start chasing meaningful problem to solve. Money follows the value more reliable than following the wishful thinking. So that money is a slip of value. We discussed, stopped there yesterday. So today we have to round up this section. So let's go to the last outline and then tie up the knot for this class, which is transform your discipline. I did not say change, I said transform. Transformation means you are not going back. It's just like a caterpillar turning to a butterfly. It's not going back. So you're supposed to transform your discipline. So, okay, let's see how far we go. Transform your discipline. So the first statement you write for us here is that yeah, Write it down. Discipline is choosing the future you want over the comfort you can have today. Discipline is choosing the future you want over the comfort you can have today. Discipline is choosing the future you want over the comfort you can have today. I always say that discipline is not punishment. Discipline is the capacity to use your mind, control your body, do what you say you will do, whether you feel like it or not. But today, I'm giving another version that discipline is choosing the future you want over the comfort you can have today. So, deciding to choose a future for the at the expense of the immediate gratification. So you have to delay. So saying no to the now pleasure for a tomorrow, of course, the long-term wealth is part of the discipline. So this may be one of the most uncomfortable principles of wealth creation. Right now, discipline may be one of the most uncomfortable principles of wealth creation. Discipline may be one of the most uncomfortable principles of wealth creation. Discipline may be one of the most uncomfortable principles of wealth creation. Discipline may be one of the most uncomfortable principles of wealth creation. Full stop. You cannot build long-term wealth with a short-term thinking. You cannot build long-term wealth with a short-term thinking. You can never. Discipline may be one of the most uncomfortable principles of wealth creation. Full stop. You cannot build long-term wealth with a short-term thinking. You cannot. So if you are thinking long-term, discipline is one of the principles that will keep you on the track till you get to the result you want. So, and that's why many entrepreneurs know what to do, but they fail to do it. So, and because of lack of discipline, many entrepreneurs, they just know what to do, but they fail to do it consistently. So they start a business, but lack discipline. Number one, they start a business. They start a business. They start a business, but lack discipline. But that lack discipline to remain until success. So this means the capacity to use your mind, control your body, and do what you say you will do, whether you feel like it or not. They start a marriage, but they lack discipline. They start relationship, they lack discipline. They start investment, but they lack discipline. Anything they start, they give their life to Christ, or they accept Christ into your life, but they lack discipline to consistently follow the disciple program or the way. So they start anything, but they lack discipline. So it's one of the most uncomfortable principles of wealth. So every millionaire think that if I want to be wealthy, I must be disciplined. I must accept discipline because it's not punishment. It's a to use your mind, control your body, do what you say you will do, whether you feel like it. They generate revenue, but they cannot manage money. Number two, they generate revenue. They generate revenue, but cannot manage money. Cannot manage money, but cannot manage money. So they have signed up, but they cannot pay themselves. They have results, but they cannot manage the money. They squander it, they question, and they look for who to blame. That's what pains me. How will you squander your money? No wahala. But blaming the economy for the reason why you're not disciplined is a big problem. So they get goals but lack execution. They set goals but lack implementation. Let me put it like that. They set goals. They set goals, big goals, but lack implementation. They lack execution. They always set goals. I will send text, I will do this, but no implementation. They attend trainings, but do not implement them. They attend trainings, they attend trainings, they attend trainings, they attend trainings, but don't implement them. Don't implement. That's the thing. So they attend trainings, but do not implement. They don't. So it's not discipline is what's help you to implement them. So they start projects, but do not finish. Number five, they start projects, they start projects, they start projects, but do not finish. Do not finish. They are not finishers. They can ginger for Africa. Let's go for evangelism, they are there. Let's go and cut the village road, they are there, but they don't finish it. They start relationship, they don't finish. Start marriage, they don't finish. They don't finish. And they always come back. And they're always, everyone happens is a victim. The economy, the brother, they start, because they're always the saint. They're quick to point fingers. And then they want growth without the discipline required to sustain it. They want growth without discipline to require to sustain it. So they want growth. Number six. They want growth. They want growth without the discipline to sustain it. To sustain it. And we want to tell them how to sustain. Say, they are not interested. I'm not interested. I want just to sustain the growth. They want growth without the discipline. Okay, required to sustain it. We are going to require to sustain it, to sustain growth. Okay. So, the millionaire mindset understand the difference between, let me write it like this so it can make sense. The millionaire mindset understand, okay, the difference between okay, what feels good now, what feels good now, and what produces value later, and what produces value later. So we just understand. So the difference, the ability to understand what you want now and what you want later, to differentiate them and say, okay, let me trade it now for a better tomorrow. That is called discipline. Poor men don't do that thing. They want to, that's like anything that they want to chop now. They give them, they squander now. Whatever they squander now, they don't think later. They don't think legacy. They are not thinking succession because they don't understand that success is succession. If you don't have a successor, that means you're not a successful person. How will you know you're a successful person that you have a successional plan? You have a successor, somebody that makes you significant. If for you alone, you're just success. Helping someone else by the virtue of your giftings, your talent, your ideas makes you significant. And what the world celebrates, what God actually wants, significant people. So this is why disciplined entrepreneurs are learn to do certain things I would like to share with us. So we do certain. I don't want to claim this one outline number 5, but actually there. So we're actually outline number 5, but we have a lot to write here. This is why. Put it like this on your note. This is why. This is why disciplined entrepreneurs, disciplined entrepreneurs, disciplined entrepreneurs. Okay, learn to number 1, or learn to reinvent strategically, reinvest strategically, comma, control unnecessary spending, control unnecessary spending, okay, control unnecessary spending, build cash reserve, build cash reserve, control unnecessary spending, build cash reserve, keep learning, comma, keep learning, comma, track numbers, comma, develop, follow systems and structures, comma, keep promises, comma, develop people, develop others, develop people, protect their reputation, protect their reputation, comma, stay consistent when motivation disappear, stay consistent when motivation disappear, when motivation disappear, okay, and a whole lot. And we understand motivation comes and go. It's all feelings, but we remain disciplined, doing what you say you will do, whether you feel like it or not. Using your mind to control your body, saying, I want to be a millionaire, so nothing can stop you from being one. And you have a chance to either sit down and say, I cannot, but you have the chance to also fight. If you fight, you have a chance to win. But if you sit down, you don't have any chance to win because You don't win in a game, you don't participate. You must participate before you win. So the first journey is that you must transform certain things, transform your thinking, transform your decisions, transform, of course, your discipline. You'll transform your value creation. You can transform these four things. An entrepreneur who makes 10 million profit, of course, is very, very important. But one, immediately increase lifestyle expense. Another one, ask, how can I deploy part of my profit to increase my future earnings capacity? The second entrepreneur is thinking beyond consumption. That is why they are thinking about capital allocation and compounding. Joseph demonstrated extraordinary discipline during 7 years of abundance. He did not consume everything available. He prepared for the future in Genesis 41, verse 48. Joseph gathered all the food for the 7 years. The lesson is powerful. Abundance is not a permission for waste. Write it down on your note. Abundance is not a permission for waste. Abundance is not a permission for waste. Abundance is not a permission for waste. But you have so much doesn't mean that you should waste it. You have so much time, so much money, so much intellect to waste it. Abundance is not a permission for waste. Abundance is not a permission for waste it. So sometimes the difference between temporary success and lasting wealth is the ability to manage abundance wisely. Discipline is choosing the future you want now over the comfort you want today. The future you want tomorrow over the comfort you want to. So many people want millionaires result with an ordinary mindset. It cannot work. Because if a man is what he thinks, definitely. Okay, let me say, if a man is what he thinks, if a man doesn't think million, he cannot be a millionaire. If a man doesn't think wealth, he cannot be wealthy. So if the Bible says, okay, let me say, if a man is what he thinks, because as a man thinketh, is as so it is. So a man cannot experience, of course, millions, except he thinks millions. A man cannot be a millionaire. Like a man cannot be a millionaire except he thinks millionaire. Okay. A man cannot experience wealth. He thinks wealth. Okay, let me like that. A man cannot experience wealth except he thinks wealth. Okay. A man cannot experience love except he thinks love. A man cannot experience peace except he thinks peace. A man cannot experience abundance except he thinks abundance. So as a man thinketh, so is he. So if a man is what he thinks, if a man is what he thinks, if a man is what he thinks, if you are what you think, if I'm what I think, therefore, a man cannot experience wealth except he thinks wealth. A man cannot experience abundance. A man cannot experience millions except he thinks millions. A man cannot experience peace. So if a man is what he thinks, so what predominantly occupy your mind, you are attracting to yourself. So when a man say always think about millions, I tell you what you think, how can I create value, what can I learn, how can I solve problems, how can I deploy, how can I discover my gift, deploy, develop and deploy in the marketplace. So our thinking different. So a man, if a man is what he thinks, a man cannot experience poverty, except he thinks poor. A man cannot experience abundance. If a man is what he thinks, a man can never experience accident except he thinks accident. A man cannot experience peace, he can except he thinks peace. A man cannot experience lack except he thinks lack. A man cannot experience witchcraft except he's thinking witchcraft. So if a man is what he thinks, so a man can never experience anything except he thinks about that. And long enough that it affects his body, because our mind, the world actually conforms to who you are on the inside. So our brain is a receiving and transmitter of thought, frequency of vibration. So we attract into our life what predominates. So if I keep attracting bad things, bad relationship, and because of my thinking, so I need to change my thinking. You know, change your thinking is to know what the book of Romans says. Romans 12 verse 2. Romans 12 verse 2. Romans 12 verse 2. It says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So transformation comes by renewing. And renewing is not something happening in an event. It's not an event. It can start an event like this. It can be an event like this. So a man is not stuck except he thinks stuck. A man is not frustrated except he thinks frustration. If a man will never complain, he think about complaining. So the thing is this: wealth creation requires transformation. Transform your thinking. Write it down. Wealth creation. I think I need to clean this so I can write. I need my space to write. So if a man is what he thinks, as a man thinketh, so he is. So a man can never think. If you like, carry the person put for Aso Rock. Okay, the day the man thinking poverty, the day he leaves Aso Rock, you come back and become poor. Give him commissioner, I don't care. Give him money, give him anything. Put him in mobile. The day he retire, 3 years after he's broke. Give him chairman. If a man is what he thinks, if a man cannot experience, put him there, give him money, he will still lose everything. Because it's always put him the wonderful marriage, he will scatter it. So wealth creation requires transformation. Write it like this: wealth creation Wealth creation. For me and you to be able to create sustainable wealth, wealth creation requires transformation. I didn't say change. Transformation. Transformation. A man, the way caterpillar, of course, turn to butterfly. That is, you cannot go back. Once you leave that stage of childhoodness to adulthood responsibility, you cannot go back. Nobody can go back to 5 years now. Nobody can go back to 2 years or 1 year. We are past that stage. You moved. So transform your thinking. If first question requires transformation. So we have four things to transform to get it done. Number one, transform your thinking. Transform your thinking. Transform your thinking, because your thinking is not good. Nothing can be good though. If a man is what he thinks, a man cannot experience what except he thinks what. Okay? Transform your decisions, because you are the sum total of decisions. You decide to be here today, that's why you're here. If you don't decide, you cannot experience it. So decide means cut off. Decide. That just decide to cut off every other options. It's the options that bring wealth, success, and abundance to you. Transform your value creation. Transform your value creation. Transform your value creation. So that's why we spend more time in, of course, reprogramming your mind. Because the worst slavery today is a slave that have been programmed that is worthless and useless. So a man carry himself and put his slave by himself. So you need to transform that. Transform your discipline. So if a man transform these four things, it's easier to actually manifest wealth effortlessly. So a man that cannot transform these four things and said, this is who I am. You don't like it and leave it. See, a man that said, this is who I am, I cannot change. I cannot learn more. I cannot innovate. I cannot add more. I cannot multiply. That man will stuck already for because a man, you cannot teach such a man, because a man, you cannot teach a man when no one learn. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. David saw an opportunity where others saw giants. Joseph converted knowledge into a solution that saves a nation. Nehemiah converted his vision into organized action. The lesson here is simple. Before wealth changes your account, you must first change your capacity. Write it down. Before wealth changes your account. Your account balance before you change. Okay? It must first change your capacity. It must first change your capacity. So asking God for bless you when you are refusing to grow your capacity is a big sabotage. It's called self-sabotage. You are defeating yourself. Oh, I want money. I want success. But your habits, your behavior, your mental thing, your thinking is always there. God never used a man he doesn't transform first. Abraham to Abraham, Saul to Paul. He always, Jacob to Israel. He always transform men before he do something great with you. So it's very important. Don't just desire wealth, wealthy status. Don't just say millionaire status. Think bigger. Create, develop millionaire capacity. How do you develop millionaire capacity? Let me show you. I don't want to clean this one. Definitely, I don't want to clean but I want to clean this one. Let this one be here for you to see it throughout this class. I want you to be seeing it. So before we leave the class, so how develop this millionaire capacity as we round up this class? Develop how to develop millionaires capacity. Number one, think bigger. Think bigger. If a man is what he thinks, if you don't think bigger, you cannot experience bigger. Let me just leave the number thing so that we can write it very well. Think bigger, create greater value. Create greater value in the marketplace. So if a man is what he thinks, if you don't think bigger, you cannot be big. If you think small, you'll be small. Build systems and structures. Think system and structures. If a man is what he thinks, you cannot experience leadership except you think leadership. You cannot experience wealth. You cannot experience it. So if a man is what he thinks, if you don't think it's too big for you to think about it, think your drainage will be bigger than you. Make better decisions. You cannot make better decisions except you are best invested in yourself, because the idea is that you cannot give what you don't have. Okay, make better decisions. Develop people, very, very important. Build and train and develop other people. Develop people around, because the quality of relationships you keep is the quality of your conversations, because bad communication corrupt good manners. So the quality of decision determines the quality of your life. Manage resources wisely. And the skill to learn how to manage resources wisely, you need to acquire them. You need to learn. You don't pray. You don't pray yourself out of poverty. You don't pray yourself, because poverty is a behavior. Wealth is a behavior. You learn your way into wealth, you learn your way out of poverty. So execute, implement consistently, implement consistently, implement consistently. So implement consistently, implement, execute, implement consistently. Consistency makes a difference. It makes impossibility consistently. Okay, consistently. So implement consistently. The goal is not to just to make millions. The goal is to become capable of creating and sustaining millions. Write it down. The goal is not to make millions. All of us can make millions, can stumble on millions, you can stumble on cash. Someone can dash, you can sell and make them. And the goal is not to make millions. The goal is to become capable of creating and sustaining millions. A lot of people cannot sustain. They cannot manage, they cannot multiply. The goal is not to make millions. The goal is to become capable. The goal is to become first, be, do, have. The goal is to become capable of creating and managing millions. The goal is not to make millions. The goal is to become capable of creating and managing. Because once you become capable of creating and managing, you can always create and manage. The essence of learning is to repeat outcomes. If you stumble on results you do not know the processes that bring it, you cannot repeat it again because the discipline of a process will help you sustain outcomes and results. So the sequential arrangement of thought of events that will take place before you get a result is very important. So the goal is not to make millions. The goal is to become capable of creating and sustaining millions. So a millionaire mindset transform the entrepreneurs. Your bigger financial breakthrough may begin with a mental breakthrough. Don't just pursue million as money. Develop the capacity to manage the millions. The bigger business demand a bigger entrepreneurs. Change your thinking, change your decision, change your business, change your wealth trajectory. Stop asking how do I make millions. Start asking what problem can I scale? What problem can I solve? Let me write that one again so that all of you can write it. Okay, let me clean it up so we can write something very important because I've seen people ask this question even as I yesterday. Stop. Okay, stop asking. Write on your note, please. Even if you don't write anything, stop asking, how do I make money? Stop asking, how do I make money? It's not too good for you. It will make you not to think very well. And start asking, how can I create? Start asking. Start asking, okay, what problem can I solve? How can I, how can I, how can I create, how can I create solutions? How can I create solutions to problems? How can I create problems? How can I solve? How can I solve? How can I solve problems? How can I how can I create solutions to problems? How can I create solutions to problems? How can I create solutions? How can I become more valuable? How can I become more valuable in the marketplace? Because valuable in the marketplace, in the marketplace, in the market. Once you become valuable, money is of value in the marketplace. How can I create products or services? How can I? How can I? Question mark here. Number three question you can ask yourself. It will help you a lot. It will change this thing you are talking about. Number three, how can I? How can I create valuable products and services? Valuable products and services. Valuable products and services. So because money is a slave of value, how can I create more product and value? So asking this question defines everything. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. So asking this question change everything. So you don't build sustainable wealth by working harder forever. You build it by thinking better, creating value, and business. So write it down. If you don't write anything, write this on home. You don't build sustainable wealth by working harder. Nobody ever does that. A man never build wealth by working harder. Wheelbarrow push another wheelbarrow. Cement carrier from trailer to warehouse. You don't build wealth by working harder forever. Full stop. You build it by thinking better, creating value, and building systems and structures. So that's how we build wealth. So your income can change when your action change. Your wealth will change when your capacity change. Don't let your current reality become the ceiling of your future. The millionaire mindset is not an entitlement. It is a responsibility, capacity, discipline, and value creation. Before you build millionaire wealth, build millionaire habits. I like you to write that down. Before you build millionaire wealth, build millionaire habits. Habits, behavior. So our behaviors are very bad. That no matter what you do, the person has to decide to say, I'm tired. I want a change. That's the only way we can work. Before you build millionaire wealth, build a millionaire habit. So finally, The millionaire mindset is not simply about thinking positive about money. It's about it is complete transformation of entrepreneur. Transform your thinking, see possibilities and opportunities. Transform your decisions, move from emotional reaction to strategic implementation. Transform your value creation, stop chasing money and start solving meaningful problems. Transform your decision, sacrifice short-term comfort for a long-term wealth. A lot of people, they want it, but they don't want to change their thinking. They held onto their thinking, they become enslaved to their thinking, and out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. As a man thinketh, so he is. So a man cannot be free except he think freedom. A man cannot be independent. A man can never experience independence except he thinks independent. A man cannot become a CEO except he thinks CEO. A man cannot become MD. A man can never experience employing people. A man cannot become anything except he think that. So until you begin to think I'm a millionaire, okay, if that you call it mindset, mindset. You set your mind. You set your mind. Or it's called set it to a frequency. The way you set your radio station. You know, you have different frequencies on radio stations. Yes or yes? You have frequency on radio station. Yes or yes? So, and if you